we generated around 560 plus million impressions organically. Those
creating property cards for the first time for people owning houses in the rural areas.
We have a patent on a bits technology,
but we were really guided by what we wanted it to be.
In terms of the content consumption pattern has changed.
Very competitive, very crowded.
The objective is basically to democratize cancer care.
I see a very bright future for retail industry.
Technology now allows us to scale up.
We also want to help patients become more compliant.
If I look at the custom solutions market, it's almost about $1,500 billion.
Your customers will not continue to be with you if you don't change it.
We had adopted digitalization much earlier.
Within a very short span of time, we are the number one operator in the whole of South India.
If you are reaching out to a lakh people today, you would be reaching out to an entire globe tomorrow.
We got those two brands and then immediately got into a few of the LFRs and there was no looking back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 45th episode of Ascent Talks. My name is Ajit and I have been an Ascent member for over a decade, and I lead Nova, an air conditioning company, and Pure Blue, a tech-enabled startup in the air conditioning domain. And it's the 45th episode, and as usual, we have Mr. Week, and my co-host is Aleem. How are you doing, buddy?
Fantastic, Ajit. It's exciting to know that it's the 45th episode, and today is going to be an exciting one. I know that for sure. And my name is Ali Merchant, for all those who don't know.
Yeah. For those of you guys who are joining us for the first time, Ascent is a non-profit organization that helps entrepreneurs grow their business. It was founded by Harsh Mariwala in 2012, Chairman Marico Limited, and he's helped over 850 entrepreneurs. Ascent's key feature is the trust groups, where entrepreneurs can share experiences and ideas. And Ascent Talks is hosted weekly, which showcases the journey of its members. So, Aleem, let's introduce our guest today.
Absolutely. Welcoming Nitin to our show. Nitin is the CEO of Talentica, but Nitin co-founded Nitins Software and provided organizational leadership. Nitin brings 25 years of experience in successfully running and growing companies. Nitin is also director of Talentica Software as of now. And before founding Talentica, he was instrumental in setting up and expanding Indian operations of eGain Communications Corporation, a leading CRM software company. From 1989 to 1997, Nitin was a partner in Asian Power, a marketing firm based in Mumbai. And Nitin holds a master's degree from marketing. Tell us, Nitin, what is your latest update? Because this seems slightly backbust.
Yeah, for the viewers who don't know, before we started, he just confessed that for the last 10 years, he's been so busy that he didn't have time to update any of his online profiles.
Well, thanks for having me. But, when you co-found a company, you don't have to look for a job, right? And when you don't have to look for a job, you don't have to update your LinkedIn profile. But okay. So for the last 20 years now, I've been running a company called Talentica Software. Talentica Software does something very simple. We help startups and tech companies build software products. Our customers are either startups at different stages of their growth or larger tech companies. Most of our customers are in the Silicon Valley. And we've, over the years, been able to help a few of our customers through their entire journey from being an early stage startup to a successful exit through an acquisition. Talentica, two co-founders, me and my wife, Manju. Both of us are graduates from IIT Bombay, hold masters from universities in the US. And we started Talentica with the goal of doing core development work using the latest technologies. Startups gave us that opportunity, and which is why we ended up working with startups. Today we have about 500 odd employees, and working from across India. We're all remote. So that's a little about us.
Wow, 500 employees all working remote. This is amazing, man. But tell me something, Nitin. This whole startup ecosystem which you've been supporting. You're into software development. You got onto the curve even before anyone saw it was rising, kind of stuff. The curve was not even seen at the horizon, and you already were on it. The whole thing. Why don't you share with us? What's the startup ecosystem that you have seen over the last few years, because you've been in this business for a very long time. You entered in when there was nothing called as a startup ecosystem. Now you've seen the whole thing. So how have you seen this entire ecosystem change? What are the value propositions coming around it? What do you see the future around this? And what are the big opportunities that are coming within this industry?
Yeah, I think so. When we started out in 2003, I would have loved to build my own product and have my own startup. There were no VCs in India. If you had to raise money, you had to go to the valley, right? And so at that time, nothing existed. Early stages, once the VC started coming up, I think we saw a lot of companies that had businesses that was successful out in the West, but had an Indian twist. So, for example, Flipkart was Amazon plus COD. Right? It needed an Indian twist. Naukri was Monster plus searching for people by their degree. Right? So that phase happened, and today we see a lot more startups with a lot more original ideas get funding, and so that has evolved certainly to a great degree. What I don't see even today and would love to see is startups that are working in very fundamental new technologies, right? Where the innovation is happening on the technology front, not solving the business problem front. And but I think it's just a matter of time before we see those start getting funding in India as well. We're part of beyond US. I think India and China are the two biggest startup ecosystems in the world, and I think this will only grow. Yeah.
So, Nitin, tell us about the significant changes you brought about when you started your venture. And, I heard about your exit. So tell us about that also.
Yeah, so I think I don't want to answer your question that way, but let me tell you the thing that we did not change.
Sure.
Okay. And I think when we started out, we were very clear. We wanted to do good work, core development. We wanted to use the latest technologies. And over the last 20 years, we've stuck to it, right? We're selective about who we work for. We work only for startups, tech companies. Now, if a bank or something comes to us and says they want something built, we politely decline, right? And I think that's something that I'm proud of, because I've seen a lot of my friends, other companies that started about the same time as we did. Over time, growth pressures makes them take up stuff that
True.
We start with exciting work, and then you want to grow fast, and those pressures make you take work that necessarily are not aligned to your core. So yeah, I think that's the more important piece than what we changed. We've evolved over time. We've made changes. As way of life for any company, right?
So tell me something, Nitin. You see, we all believe, that is, as entrepreneurs, we are always looking at the cash flow. Whatever business strategy, everything, we always know that the cash flow is the fuel to the business. You're working with startup ecosystems, and the core ethos of the startup is paisa nahi hai hamare paas. Hum to paisa banane wala hai. All right. How do you work with customers like these who come up and tell you that, listen, I don't have money, but I'm going to make tons of money in the future, and you're going to be part of the big history.
So, paisa nahi hai, time nahi hai, log nahi hai. But I think, and that's what leads to innovation, right? Because none of these things are there. But I think what very early on we figured out a fundamental truth. And the fundamental truth is we are experts on technology. We understand technology well. we are not capable of assessing business ideas, right? And so we have never, startups come to us and say, equity lega kya? We have this great idea, we have that great idea. We've kind of stayed away from that. We said, okay, put cash down and let's work. On our side, of course, the startup world has a lot of attrition, but we are very close part of our customers' teams. We have that view of what's happening in that startup, what's not, and so on. Today, we work primarily for funded startups, so that's one of the things. We do work for a few unfunded ones, but they're referrals from someone we know very well, where founders have a history and so on. But it's not so bad, by the way. I think on the whole, we probably write off 1% of our revenue in bad debts every year, which
1%.
I think is fair. Yeah, which is fair for most businesses, right?
होता तो चाय का बिल रहेगा.
Hang on. There is something, Aleem, that we are not aware of. One second. You are dealing with customers, and they say they don't have money, but you still help them out, and then your write-off is 1%. What is it that you guys pick up equity? Yeah? That's how it works, huh?
No, we don't pick up equity. It's cash for services.
Wow.
All right. Amazing, yeah. And what's actually interesting is that how you're able to actually handhold these startups. Even when they don't have much money, you don't have these difficulties where they tell you that, listen, I'm running out of money, but when we raise money, we're going to give it to you. Please keep supporting us.
Correct. And yeah, you go back to them and say, look, if you're running out of money, let's cut down on the team. Let's cut down on what we're trying to build. Let's prioritize what's most important for you and build that. Right?
Yeah.
And that's a dialogue that one is able to have. See, I think, look, it's like children growing up, right? Or babies growing up. Every baby is unique, but they still go through the same phases. First they learn to crawl, then they learn to walk, then they learn to run, and so on, right? Startups are the same. Every startup is unique, but there's a pattern, right? And having worked with perhaps 180, 190 startups over the last 20 years, we know the pattern. And what we are able to do as a third party is objectively point out to the founders, because this is what I can foresee happening in your world. Because look, they are too deep in the weeds to see the big picture. We have the advantage of being, X thousand miles away and looking, perhaps less emotionally attached to their ideas than they are, right? And we are able to provide this objective view and say, look, this is what we foresee. Right?
Interesting, right?
And it's value for them as well, right?
Yeah.
So that.
So Nitin, tell me, okay, while I get what you do as a business and things like that, as an entrepreneur, what challenges do you have? I mean, you built a 500-member team, all working from home. What are the challenges you faced in your journey?
Look, challenges are always there.
He's being nice. Hang on, Aleem. When you ask that question, then Nitin is saying, "मैं कहाँ से शुरू करूँ यार?" मिनट बचा हुआ है, मैं कहाँ से शुरू करूँ मैं अभी?
Correct. Yeah. So for that we need to have a 2-hour call, right? But I think the biggest challenge we faced was way back in 2021. When the Indian startup ecosystem grew really rapidly, right? And startups raised record amount of money in that year. And we were at the target end because we had smart people. So all our developers are IIT and IIT grads. We had people who had the experience of building products, and these guys were willing to throw any kind of money and any kind of options at these people. And so 2021, very tough time keeping people, very tough time hiring people. I mean, that probably was the most challenging time for us. And,
I'm sure.
A lot of companies grew in that period, whereas we grew only 10-15%. And I think of all the entire journey, that's one time I remember. Okay,
How did you tackle it? How did you tackle it? I mean, a lot of us had such kind of challenge. How did you tackle it?
I think two things happened. One is over time, people figured out the risks of working for startups. Look, what do we offer as a company, right? What we offer is the opportunity to work for startups without the risk of working for startups. Right? In that 1 or 2 years of Bekawa, people went off. But over time, people figured out, oh shit, you know what? This comes at a price.
True.
Right? Whereas with Talentica, I can still do the same kind of work, still work on the same kind of technologies, and my job is secure.
True.
So that is one piece that happened. Second is, of course, we probably expanded our recruitment net to the top 100 colleges in India instead of just sticking to the IITs and IITs. So that helped us tide over a little. I think today, of course, the market changed. So that problem is also lesser.
So Nitin, I have a question. This is what actually is a question that most MSMEs are always talking from a tech perspective. We all realize that we need to adopt technology into the business. On one hand, you have the ERP solutions, which are the traditional robust systems. And I'm asking you this question because you have worked with very large organizations. You support a lot of organizations, both in India and outside. These are big enterprises that you've been supporting. And you've been very actively working on tech support and tech development for the startup ecosystem. Now, on one side, you have an ERP solution. And the other side is you have a lot of SaaS applications which can talk to each other and give you a tech solution. Which is a better solution, or where is the world going to? For MSMEs like you, like us, what's a better solution? A SaaS application which can talk to each other, multiple problems, or one single robust ERP? Which one is better?
I think I can find components of each option, okay? But if you ask me personally, I think best of breed software solutions on the cloud is what I would do. Because today, they don't need to be standalone, right? Today, there are platforms that help you integrate between multiple SaaS applications. So you could buy, Zendesk for support, you could buy something else for sales, you could buy a CRM, and there is a bunch of services that are available that will integrate them for you without writing a single line of code, right? So my personal take is that, look, one has to go with the best of the breed, because the depth at which a best of breed solution can go to, no integrated platform goes to that. Integrated platforms are generic. Yeah, sure. They give you one dashboard. But that one dashboard is now possible even with solutions that are specialized in their own function. So my simple take is yes. Go with the best of breed, integrate them. There are enough things available to integrate them together and do your thing.
Yeah. So what he's saying is technically is that also gives me the freedom. Most of us go for SaaS because you can keep block building and slowly keep scaling up the tech platform.
Correct.
The capex is much lower. It's always picked onto a cost, and it gives me the other advantage from what I learned from what you're trying to tell me is I'm not dependent only on one company. I've actually distributed my risk among multiple companies.
Correct.
So it's pretty clear that the future seems to be going that way, where it is SaaS applications and domain-specific ones.
With you. Totally with you.
Amazing.
Nitin, tell me, there's one word all entrepreneurs are scared of today. It is called AI. So how do you think AI is going to affect businesses in the future?
Hey, look, I don't think it's worth getting a FOMO on AI for anyone, because deliberately or inadvertently, every business of ours today is using AI. Look, each time you open your phone with the Face ID, you're using AI, right? Each time you look for some place on Google Maps, you're using AI, right? If you're running a business If your salespeople are using ClickUp or ChatGPT to draft their mails to prospect, they're using AI. If your marketing guy is using Grammarly to check the English, he's using AI. If your support folks are using Zendesk to figure out what solution they should offer, they're using AI. If your management using Otter to transcribe video calls, they're using AI. So there is no reason for people to feel left out of the AI bandwagon, because you are using AI whether you like it or not. As an MSME, as a small business, you might not have, a 5-10 crore ka project that only does AI to solve some one arcane problem, but you're using AI. Use these tools. These tools are there to use, and you can use them intelligently to get differentiation within your industry, right? So my take is, keep your eyes and ears open for new tools. All of them leverage AI, and figure out how they are applicable to your business. Otherwise, other than this, don't worry about AI. Okay, you're already using it. It's pervasive already. Okay, so at least that's my personal take.
Very optimistic personal take, I must say.
Yeah. So Nitin, here is one thing that, after listening to you, there are two questions that come in my mind, which is related to how you run the business. You work with 500 people, extremely highly skilled people, and you work offline. You work in everyone works from different places. How do you manage that? That is one first question. And second is, you work in a startup ecosystem. How do you acquire new customers? These are very fascinating things to just understand from your business as to how do you do it, which is very different from most of our traditional brick and mortar, or for that matter, tech-enabled businesses itself.
See, I think, let me answer the remote question first, right? So what's missing in remote? What's missing in remote is the relationships, right? And how do people relate? People relate at 3 or 4 different levels. Firstly, at a team level, group of 5, 7, 8 people working together closely to deliver something. They need to trust each other.
True.
Right? Secondly, at a larger group level, where you say, okay, people from different teams that are working together. As a company, I would, as a CEO, I would like my people to be bound together and think, okay, all part of Talentica. So you want people to kind of tie in together across teams. And then thirdly, you want people with similar skills or interests to relate to each other, because that's where innovation happens. All new ideas come out of a table or water cooler, call it what you may, right? And so what we have tried to do is to make sure that we're able to help our employees relate at all these levels. So what we do today is for teams, we allow them to go for paid vacations. Each team can pick any location in India. They're allowed to go there, travel over the weekend, work together for a week, and travel back over the weekend. Right?
Wow.
We pick up the airfare, we pick up the hotel charges. The only condition is that 90% of the team has to be together for that 1 week and work together. So at a team level, we do that. At a slightly broader company level, we have what we call office meetups, where we call people once every 6 months into the office, where 7, 8 teams come together, maybe 100 people odd, and then work together for a week, so that they form relationships between teams. We also get to address them with common issues, answer their questions on HR and policies, whatever it is. So that's the second piece. And then the third piece, which comes to engaging people with similar skills or similar interests. We have continuous set of events that happen that, so typically, let's say in our world, okay, it would be a front-end developer, back-end developer. So we have a group of front-end developers. They have their own meetups where somebody presents something interesting they did. They have their own hackathons. They have their own competition, and they have their own Slack channels where they can plug whatever interesting they see and share with others with those interests. So we're trying to kind of make sure that communication happens at all these three levels, and so that we continue to be effective as a company even when we're remote.
That's very cool.
How do you acquire new customers? Yeah, that was the other question that I had on my mind is how do you actually acquire new customers, especially in the startup ecosystem?
Actually, it's a lot simpler than you think it is. Simply because, look, majority of customers of ours are in a 100 square mile area called the Silicon Valley. Okay, and so it's a small world. They're all tightly knit. More than half our new customers come to us through references from existing customers or people we worked with in the past. There's, of course, we also do the regular brick and mortar stuff. We attend technical events. We advertise on Google. We run campaigns. We do SEO and that stuff. But still, the majority comes to referrals. And see, referrals are awesome because somebody's already pre-sold you to that prospect, right? All you have to do is to not screw up.
And ask for the money. And ask for the money correctly.
Correct. Upfront.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's how it's been.
Nitin, tell us about your Ascent journey. Tell us about your trust group and how it's been.
So I've been part of VWin, which was one of the, I think, first lot of trust groups to be established. We've been around for the last 11 years. Had a swell time. I'm the only member of VWin. So when VWin got formed, we had Ascent groups only in Mumbai, and I'm based in Pune, right?
Yeah.
So I travel to Mumbai for every meeting, every month, right? But it has never been a burden to me. I mean, each time I'm on my way back to Pune and I'm reflecting, ki aaj kya seekha? There is something to take back, right?
True.
And so it's, so when we started out, most problems discussed were more transactional, right? How do you select an ERP? How do you hire leadership? How do you do this and so on? Today, all of us know each other very well. We know we know each other's nature. We know what's priority for each of us. We know our backgrounds. And so you're able to discuss and get opinions on a lot more strategic stuff, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes someone will come and say, this is the right thing, but Nitin, tere liye nahi chalega, right? And that's the value that it brings in. And yeah, and so pre-Ascent, if somebody had asked me if my problems are the same as somebody running a nutraceuticals company, as somebody running a plastics company, as somebody running a media agency, I would have said bullshit. But the one thing I have learned over the last 11 years is all industries, problems faced at the same stage of growth.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I mean, it's hats off to the person who kind of figured this out and set it up first. But it's an amazing, it's an amazing organization.
Nice. Great to hear about this, Nitin, from you. Also, Nitin, a little about your personal stuff, your personal hobbies. I know your wife and you are both founders of the business. You are both equal entrepreneurs. Tell us a little about your personal side, other than the software and tech and your business and everything.
Yeah, sure. I think, hobbies-wise, we're second innings, right? When we were younger, we used to do a lot of trekking, and that's how me and Manju know each other in IIT days, right? And then 7 years back to empty nester status, son went to the hostel, and so we decided we'll take this up again. So we've resumed treks, go for a trek in the Himalayas every year. As a fact, just 5 days back from a trek from Ladakh to Kashmir. Amazing. But yeah.
How cool.
That's nice, and I like this whole thing. You have to. My biggest takeaway from this is, Aleem, you have to become an empty nester to go back to your hobbies.
You're almost there, Ajit, aren't you?
Exactly. So I become an empty nester in probably another month's time, and this is like a big takeaway. Go back to your hobbies. But Nitin, it's been fantastic listening to you. I mean, it's pretty exciting. I'm glad that you actually took some time out to actually share these thoughts with us. It's been a huge learning. Also, not only just how you build the business, but also your journey as to a lot of learnings for each of us as entrepreneurs. So thank you very much, Nitin. It's been wonderful listening to you. Thank you very much.
Well, Ajit, Aleem, thank you for having me. And it's been a lot of fun talking to you as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Wow. So there's that. Well, in our terms, we call a full-on geek. You heard him. Have you noticed, Ali? Every question he asked, it was like, "मैं 2 मिनट ही बताएगा, 3 मिनट ही बताएगा, उसके बाद नहीं बताएगा." That's clear. That's the key part of. Yeah, that's the power-packed answers. What is necessary is what I will say. That's it. But it's fantastic. So, but when you have speakers like this, you're able to extract more information.
Yes, absolutely.
So fabulous conversation, fantastic. So thank you very much. We're at the end of the show. And if you like our shows, and if you're an entrepreneur, share it with another entrepreneur. We've got a lot of people who write saying that, somebody forwarded it to me and it was just fantastic. And that's how they've connected. And if you are an entrepreneur who's ready, who's truly growth ready, get to ascentfoundation.in and make an application out there. That's the link that you have on the screen. Get an application out there and the Ascent team will actually get in touch with you. And if you're truly growth ready, we'll be happy to have you in our cohort. So thank you very much. And we'll see you next Friday at 11 a.m. with another interesting story. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
See you soon. Take care.